All right, hi everybody. So your challenge in this one is to create a counter, like maybe like a head counter, see how many people have attended something. Let's do that. So it's going to have a couple of buttons, a label. You might want to draw what your view wants to look like. I'm just going to dive right in, which a lot of people will go, no, but sometimes you just got to have fun with things, I think. So now I want that. All right, so open up Xcode, create a new Xcode project, single view app. It's a good place to start. We'll call it counter or head counter. Let's do that. All right, create. Yeah, desktop. You can find it later if you want to keep on improving. Let's create our UI view first. And what we want is a couple of buttons. So you go to your library. Actually, we need a label. I'm going to press enter on that, see what happens. Select, enter. No, won't do it for me. Before I did it, and there we go. Okay, so if you select the view and, oh, that's weird. Why is it doing that? There. All right, so we've got our label. So this will be our counter. Let's maybe stretch it so it just fits the whole view, and that'll help with constraining it. And let's center the text as well and change the text. You can change the text in here. It's going to set it to 0. Make it a bit bigger. So I'll have to stretch it down a bit. If you lose those little markers there, you can just click off the view and back on it, and you can be able to drag those there. It just pops up. I'm going to set it to bold as well. Just want it to stand out. Regular, bold. There we go. And that is good enough for me. Now some buttons. You can play around with it a lot more. But I just want to do this quickly so you can get an idea. There's one button. I'm just going to increase the size of it. You can actually change, if you want to set it to a certain size, you go to that ruler, it's the size inspector, and if I click on the button, it should show, there we go, the width and height. So I'll set it both to 150, that should be good. Nice, even. And then click on the button, Command D, duplicate it. Sorry about that, it's kind of weird how it does that. And then I'm just going to select both of those, drag them so they're sort of in the middle there. And then Command All, and I'm just going to apply a add missing constraints to all of the views, and hopefully it works. Actually, a lot of the time, we'll try it, we'll see how it goes. Button text, go back to Attributes Inspector. If you don't have this, remember, little slide out panel there, really good if you've got a small view. Let's set the text to a plus, and I'm going to change the size of that as well. Whoops, there it is. Plus, and size it up. We'll get a good idea what we need for the other one. That should do it. 87. Let's do that for the other one. That's weird. What's happened there? The size has freaked out. Set that back to 150. Yeah, I might. Now I'm just going to add the constraints to this again. Update the constraints. It seems to have. You'll see some errors up here if there's something wrong. Let's change this to a minus. It was 86, I think, wasn't it? So go into here. You can just type in 86 there. Oh, it's because I changed the size of the fonts. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's change that back. So we'll get more familiar with this. If you get lost, just pause and see what I did. So I'm updating the constraints again, just to get rid of any little problems. All right. That's the first step. Now, let's have a look at connecting this to our code. So we need to access these objects. First is a label. Control, hover over the label, drag over, and we'll call it the counter label. I'm just going to do LBL. All right, check that it says UI label. If you've got something else there, you've probably dragged from the view or something else, so make sure you fix that. And our plus, it's going to be an action, this one, so drag this below the viewDidLoad function. You'll tell by this closed bracket here. And let's call this plus pressed. And we'll make it, yep, it's already set to action. We'll say it's from the button and connect. Now, I'm actually going to create a group of actions. So I'm going to see if I can drag that to this button as well. There we go. And I'm going to refactor this to button pressed, okay? You'll see in a minute. Button plus, maybe plus minus pressed. And what we'll do is we'll just check what's on the label to figure out what we're going to do. What you can do is we can use sender dot, and we can get the label, title label dot text, and we're just going to print that. All right, let's have a look at this. So run your project here. This will be a good test. Up to here, you don't want to do too much code. Don't worry about that warning. We don't really need the view now. Maybe I want to check that, you know, it looks good. And as you're doing your builds, you might want to adjust things. I've got to set it up to my phone. Don't want that. Let's build it on an iPhone 5S. And you really want to build it on all your devices. So what this little warning here, it's saying, oh, if we're getting a value, but you know, it could be empty or it could be null and it will crash your app. So what it wants to do is you could force unwrap it with this bottom fix, explicitly cast to any. It's just not sure what you're getting from the title label. We can just force the value there, or we can set up a default value. So you can say, there's no text in this, or something like that. We'll do one later, but for now, oh, get that view back. Check it out on the 5S, which is a small view. And as you can see, yeah, it's gone a bit crazy. I think it's because of this constraint down here. It's pushed the buttons all the way to the top. But I'm just going to press on these, see? And there we go. We've got, it's saying a plus or minus. So we're going to use that to decide what we're going to do with the label. Let's get rid of this constraint. All right, I'm just going to show you a simple way to set up your constraints. It can sometimes be a disaster. Now, select all of the views, so Command A is a good way, and then clear constraints. There we go. Now, with this first one, Control in it and drag up to the top, and we'll do top space to safe area. And I think if you press Shift, you can do a few things. Yep. And then just so hold down Shift, we're going to do a few, and we want it to center horizontally in the safe area as well. Just those two, and then just press Enter. So that's done. You could even do one more and just drag from the label to outside the label, and we'll go leading space to safe area as well. And we might as well do this one as well, trailing space. And there's still some like errors on it. Let's have a look at those. Expected height. Okay, let's set the height of the label in 2. So drag inside it and select height. And we want, all right, so you have to select one of these. This is trailing and leading. I'll just remove one of them, I think. Maybe remove them both, actually. Yep. We'll leave them for now. It's okay. And then these ones, for ease of this, let's just do this. Drag this one below. Why is it doing that? So weird. Whenever I drag. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put them stacked underneath each other. And what we're going to do is control from that to there. And we'll go vertical spacing. So hold shift. We'll go leading and center horizontally. And we're doing it in comparison to this label. So it's going to do that with that. So enter and do the same for this one. Vertical spacing, leading, center horizontally, enter. I'm going to run that one more time and see if we can just get it to look like that. Nice and simple. Awesome, there we go. And we've got a plus and minus, cool. So next, let's get to it. So let's do our code. All right, now if you want to try it yourself, a hint is using an if-else statement and using these to decide what to do. And we have to change the text of our label. There's some hints for you if you want to give it a go. If not, let's do it. So we need a variable to track the counter. All right, so counter track, maybe. Set it to 0. And then in here, if, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this and I'm going to set it to a variable, let title text equal that. And if the title text is equal to plus, you do something, else we're just going to do something else. So you could do another if, but we'll just do if else for now. It's quite easy. All right, and if it's plus, we have to increment our tracker. Oops, counter track. Plus equals 1. Counter track minus equals 1 for, whoops, want those together. And then we have to assign this to the label whenever we change it. So counter track dot text, counter label dot text equals, now we have to convert this into a string because this is an int here, so we have to put it inside a string like so and put counter track. All right, now we've got an error. No, should be okay. Just a bit slow. It's like going, sometimes you get errors like that. Just hit build or run. And let's see if we've got it working. There we go. And that's how to make a head counter. This does go into negatives, so you might want to prevent that. That's an extra challenge for you. And all done. We're counting heads. Other things you could do, add a reset button. You might want to add a different kind of increment as well. It's your choice. So cool, have fun. I'll talk to you later.